Join Tim and Kristina Madden, co-founders of Executive Career Upgrades, on their podcast, the Executive Career Upgrades Podcast. As an executive in today's highly competitive job market, it can be tough to succeed. However, with Tim's nationally recognized career advice and Kristina's mindset expertise, you can reach your full potential. Tune in to upgrade your career and get ahead of the competition.
All right, we are live. Welcome to the Executive Career Upgrades Podcast with your hosts, Tim and the beautiful Kristina Madden. Hey, we help those directors, VPs, and executives in corporate America, right, figure out this whole leadership. How do I find a job? How do I start the job? How do I make success easy for my team? We're super excited to have a great episode for you today. Hey, we go live each week inside the Executive Career Network, the largest.
But wait,
what? What's up?
We are talking about gratefulness today. Can I first just pause and say I am grateful that you are here, and I am so grateful to all of our listeners out there that have helped us impact over 72 countries. I think last week we had like 100 people on this podcast hanging out with us for the full hour. So give yourself a pat on the back. First of all, you're after information, but thank you so much for making the Executive Career Upgrades Podcast exactly what it is today. We are so excited to have you on and talk about this big topic about gratitude, but just literally, I'm so humbled every day. I am so humbled by how many people come forth and talk about how much we've been able to impact their lives and people in our community, our employees, our staff, everyone. We are so grateful for you, and virtual hugs to all of you.
Excellent. She's getting right into the topic, but we got to get past the intro first. Hey, if you're watching live in the ECN, let us know in the comments. We welcome you to join the Executive Career Network over on Facebook. Hey, it is directors, VPs, and executives from all over the country that some of them are looking for their next career. Some of them can provide mentorship potentially for you inside your career. And some of them might be, we all grew up in the 90s, the plug, right? The plug to connect you to a decision maker, or maybe they are the decision maker. So definitely, hey, check out that community. Also to our friends over on YouTube and LinkedIn, we are monitoring the comments as well. And then we upload it to, of course, everywhere on the internet. Do us a favor, as always. Hey, if you get any benefit from this podcast today, share it with a friend, family member, business associate, so they can elevate their career as well. Because just like Kristina was saying, right? Like, thank you for showing up, because you only need two things, right? The two things you need is you need the knowledge. And then once you have the knowledge, what do you have to do, Kristina?
You have to put it into action.
You have to put it into action. Life is literally that simple. So we have some practical tips for you today. And just like Kristina said, man, I love when people get hired, guys. It's literally amazing, especially when they never thought it was going to happen, or whatever. And I do know we'll hold last names for a little bit, but I'm so excited that Laura got hired. So Laura, you know who you are, starting November 27th. That's your new organization. I remember just talking to her a couple weeks ago. Anything you want to say? Just grateful about that.
Guys, evidence. People are hiring. Oh my gosh. Right after Thanksgiving, before Christmas.
Yeah. Well, we already handled that, right?
And by the way, guys, that was under 60 days. That was a process that was under 60 days. And the thing that she did that sets her apart from, let's say, other clients that are in our environment that take a little longer, mindset. It was mindset and aggressive, very aggressive on getting information. We have a process, right? You come into our environment. There's a checklist and there's a call flow that you follow to connect with all of your coaches. She was ahead of that. Like, she was connecting with me. She was buying my book. She was putting that to use. She was really just making herself very well known inside the ECU community and just maximizing, her potential and capitalizing on her great network. So again,
sorry.
That's what sets people apart from people who struggle, is that action. Action Tim was just talking about. So you get the plan, but what are you going to do with it? What are you going to do with, your network and people around you? And she certainly set a great example.
Absolutely. Super inspiring. Super, super excited for it. Hey, before we get started, If you're monitoring the comments, hey, we want you to join our Black Friday deals. And to qualify for the Black Friday deals, you have to be subscribed to our email so you can actually get notified of what we're doing, right? So, Christy, do me a favor, drop the Black Friday. I believe it's execupgrades.com. And then you could go to the link. Let me see here real quick. Yeah, execupgrades.com // you know what I mean, Black-Friday. So definitely go check it out, because before we get started, a couple things, right? Anything you want to talk about Black Friday?
Black Friday. Oh my gosh. I have so much to say.
With gratitude, right? We want to make sure, we want to incentivize you a little bit, right? We want to,
we're giving this away. Incentivize, no, you are crazy. I'm just going to say you are absolutely crazy and insane. If you've been watching us over the last year and you are even just remotely curious what's possible for you inside the ECU community, you are insane to not click and buy this product, because you will never see this price point again.
No. Well, it's January. We're getting busy. We're growing. We're one of the fastest growing companies. We're going to double next year. With that comes is better products, more sophisticated products, right? Upgrading them. And then higher prices. So with that being said, real quick, we just want to let you know, before we dive into today's topics, right, some different things we do here at Executive Career Upgrades. So we are obviously known for helping you get to your next role quickly, right? Whether you're a director, VP, or executive, no matter what you do, if you want to get ahead of the curve before January 1st, highly recommend click the Black Friday link that Christy will drop in. Again, that's execupgrades.com / whichever, right? Black-Friday. And then, so we have career programs, right? We have an interview certification program. We have automated systems that help you, resumes, etc. Christina's going live on her social media right now. In addition to that, okay, we have leadership and development programs, right? So if you're interested in up-leveling your leadership, man, I've been listening to John Maxwell recently, and I'm like, there's so much stuff to learn. It never ends. And once I learn it, it makes me be a more effective leader. And then your anxiety goes down. You know how to handle situations. So we put together a 6-month leadership and development program that we're offering 20% off. And also we have a Mastering Your First 100 Days program right here. Okay. This program is when you are taking over an executive role, right? And you make multiple 6 figures, high 6 figures, and even some people 7 figures. Do you think what you do in the first 90 days is going to have an impact on your time at that role? Absolutely. You think it's going to determine whether they retain you, whether they promote you, how quickly they promote you. We have a blueprint strategy guide, right, that will show you exactly what to do when you onboard into these executive style roles so that you can make success easy for yourself. So for a limited time only, you could save 20%. So want more information about any of those, email me at tim@execupgrades.com or stay tuned for the emails. Cool. And as always, hey, you need help in your career in any facet, go to execupgrades.com /podcast. Let's get started. Had to get it in. Kristina, gratitude.
I don't know how he memorizes all of these links. I mean, I'm like in awe of him right now.
So episode 107, we put gratitude and goal setting. I know we're going to briefly touch on goal setting, but we're mainly going to do gratitude. And I think we should just start with, you do not know the impact you have at your job. Holy smokes. Whether or not, whatever products and services you sell cybersecurity solutions, human resources management, you work for a consulting company, a trucking company, no matter what, as a leader, because if you're listening to this podcast, you are a leader, right? If you are a leader in corporate America, you can truly impact people's lives. And when you do, man, you feel so good, right? The best advice I have is, if you are not, there's been some times where Tim Madden even gets down, right? One of the hacks I do is try to help somebody else, right? Try to help somebody else.
And I'm going to assume, I've learned some tough lessons lately, actually, where I shouldn't be assuming, right? But I'm going to assume that most people listening to this podcast have a desire to impact people. Like, you have a desire.
Why would you be listening to this podcast if you don't?
Exactly.
So what I wanted to share is, you don't know the impact that you're having on people. And then we'll get into a couple talking points, right? But first, we just had an employee fly over. I want to talk about that because we had a great time. Flew over from Ireland.
Yeah, flew over from Ireland, and I was just in awe of how intelligent this person is, by the way. She's probably not listening because she's flying back from Southwest Florida to Ireland. But listen, I am so humbled. Sometimes I have to really sit and take a moment to realize like what's actually happening, because the fact that I have somebody coming over to spend time with me because of the impact I have on her life, flying from Ireland last minute, by the way. She thought I meant December. This was like a 48-hour notice.
That was funny.
Like
okay. 96 hours.
96 hours. She's like done, like on the plane. She flew over here, right? And then stayed 48 hours, 72 hours, not even 72 hours. But she's just fully committed to the mission here, and wanted to spend time with me directly because I impact her life and who she is. And, then she does the same for me. So,
well, and we've talked about this before on the podcast, right? If you are a leader in corporate America, right, you have had to overcome challenges, because there's no way you can get there without overcoming immense challenges. Amen. Right. And one of our mentors says, like, how dare you, right, rise to these high levels in corporate America and not share with people how you did it, right? Not share with your team. How did you do it? How did you overcome these challenges, right? So be sure go ahead.
The worst leaders in the world, you've probably encountered them, are stingy. Mm-hmm. Stingy. They think they're the best. They don't need to share knowledge. They know it all. Oh gosh, that could be very, very toxic. You don't want to be around people like that. And one of the ways that, like, let's say you're unintentionally becoming that, right? Because you are stressed out and you don't have time to share and give and sit and feel and, all of these things. That's why we're going to talk about this today, gratefulness, because while it might sound kind of cheesy or woo-woo or cliche, I'm not talking about like having to sit down with your therapist and tell everybody, all of your feelings around gratefulness, but it can be a very tactical strategy to better mental clarity, a better tactic and strategy to maintain a positive and more resilient mindset. And it certainly has been studied and been linked to various physical, psychological, and social benefits as well. So you have to think about this as a much needed mindset. Think about it as something tactical you can do to grow and impact. And a little bit less of this like sort of cliche thing that comes to mind when we talk about gratitude. This really is a necessary component to just the basics of human experiences.
Absolutely. So with that being said, taking care of yourself is showing gratitude to yourself. Taking care of your team that you lead is showing gratitude towards your team. And it isn't easy. What are some ways, Kristina, that ways to show gratitude?
Sometimes everybody, okay, so here is my top recommendation. If you do not have a current,
let's hear it.
I do it every day. If you do not have a gratitude practice, this is the easiest thing you can do. It could take under 30 seconds, but before your feet hit the ground, what are 3 things you're grateful for? And it's wild because I always think it's going to be like the big things in my life. They're really big things. And there's a lot of big things, but typically it comes down to the same 3. And one of them is like when I look out my back slider window. I mean, I live in a tropical paradise, like, okay, so I've got this beautiful back patio. I'm thankful for all the greenery out there. I love my plants. I love the way all that makes me feel. Then when I walk through my, living room, it's the home that I live in, the fact I don't even have to worry about having a roof over my head. And then it's my family, and the life we get to live. And just those 3 things will bring you into a totally different energy of how you just see the world. And for some of us, sometimes like, okay, can I just be thankful that I have air in my lungs? If you are listening to me and you're like, gosh, like I would struggle to get myself in a positive mindset and have some things to think about. Guys, if you're listening to this podcast, I'm going to assume you're not starving. I'm going to assume you're not being chased by a bear.
You're watching it on a $1,300 iPhone, potentially, or a $2,000 MacBook, right?
Your house is not on fire. I'm going to assume you're not in a crisis if you're listening to me right now, which tells me you have a lot to be grateful for. So we have to put ourselves in check sometimes, because our brain wants to drag us into this chaotic
Negative
nature
cycles.
of things, or little things that come at you can throw you into a state of being ungrateful for what you do have. And so be as simple as possible. What are 3 things right now? Take a moment right now. Take inventory, take stock. Like, what are you grateful of? If you're listening from your car, you have great transportation. But I have a few others.
Yeah. So real quick, hey, I want to drop into something you said. So I say this all the time. You get what you put your attention on. So with that being said, if you're waking up in the morning saying, man, I hate my job. Man, I can't believe this company didn't call me back. And this, how are you going to start your day? Right? How about you wake up, right? Because what I talked to the team today when we had our meetings is we're approaching Thanksgiving tomorrow, half day here at ECU, right? Go spend some time with the family, have some time to travel. But I was meeting with our team today internally, and I said, hey, I remember, and we have some military vets on our team. We got Casey, we got Robert, we got Eric, Houghton, Sam, so many military vets on our team that served previously. And I was like, I remember being deployed in Iraq, Afghanistan, different places, and saying, where I didn't get to be home with the holidays. Right. So now I'm like so grateful. I'm like, tomorrow I get to spend time with my family. You might get to spend time with that annoying sibling, right? Or aunt. But hey, think about this. How grateful are you that you even get to spend time with them? That you have
to
food.
switch the narrative from I have to I get to.
Exactly.
So like same with working out. I get to move my body. I get to be with my family. I get to talk to the next lead on my calendar. Like if you're in sales, it's really easy to get like, caught in the hustle of it all and the grind of it all. But like, hey, I get to have meaningful conversations. I get to impact people. I get to lead teams.
Or how about this? I get to, even though I'm a director right now who makes good money and maybe nothing's wrong in my career, but I know I'm ready for the next level. Man, how grateful are you that you're trying to rise to the next rank, right? Senior director, depending on where you work, everyone's job titles are different, right? Like imagine that. We work with people that sometimes get so frustrated because they've been a director making $200K for 5 years and they haven't been able to break through, and we're able to help them. But I'm like, man, you should be so grateful. Imagine this, right? So remember, you get what you put your attention on. Are you putting your attention on all the things you don't have, or everything that you should be grateful for that you do have? Because here's why. If you are not grateful at your darkest times, right, it's super hard. Because here's why. If you ain't grateful right now, if you think, I need this next job to be grateful, I need this next leader, and until then I can't be grateful, let me give you some news, ladies and gentlemen. You will never be grateful. And that is not a good place to be. And when we're always focusing on the bad things or the things we don't have or how people treated us, we get into what's called negative cycles, which we go over in Mastering Your First 100 Days and the Leadership and Development Program, right? How to not get yourself in a negative cycle, because once you're there, man, you're just going around in a loop, and it's so hard to break out of that. So we want to encourage you to develop positive cycles in your life and career. And it starts with when you wake up, hey, what are you grateful for? And people take for granted so much, Kristina. I want your thoughts on this, but I'll get started. Verbal appreciation is one of those things, right? Now, I look back to the military, and I think back when I was a recruiter, I did really well, and I got to win some trips. I got some cool awards that's in my office, right? I got some cool awards. And do you know the times that I remember the most, though, was not the cool statue I have, not the coin I have, but when people came up to me and just said, hey, you crushed it, man. You crushed it. I appreciate you so much. Or look how much you've improved over the last year. Guys, and don't get me wrong, and this is just Tim Madden, right? Money, extra money is nice, and bonus and vacation, all that stuff is great. But you know what I really remember? I remember those times of when leaders back in the day told me how grateful they were about having me on their team, the performance I made, etc. Man, that always fired me up more than, hey, you get to take Friday off because of whatever. What about you, Kristina? Verbal appreciation.
Yeah, praise your people and praise them often and praise them publicly. That's so important. And I think
Shout out to Oz, by the way. 1 year at ECU today is your 1 year anniversary. So Oz, if you're listening, we are grateful to have you on our team. Helped transform so many careers over the past 12 months.
Public announcement. Yes, she's an absolute beast. It's a habit though, guys, right? Like, so it's easy. Like, listen, we get so busy. It's actually easy to forget about this. You might have to actually if this is something that doesn't come natural to you, you might almost have to write it down on your daily non-negotiables, praising your people. Again, it does not come naturally to some people. And forgive me, but for some people, if you even struggle with like insecurity around this, or people weren't praising you, or you haven't been in environments like this, it might almost be hard.
No, it's bizarre. That's the funniest thing. We have people, and yeah, I will talk about our culture sometimes. I just got a DM from Matt, who is one of the amazing writers here at ECU. If you ever hook up and get a profile along with Katie and other, but Matt was just telling me like, man, it's been awesome to work here and etc. Like, don't you want a culture like that? How can you have a culture like that if you're not grateful every day and you're not grateful for your team? It's impossible.
The young lady that we were talking about that visited with us, Megan, by the way, I'm sure she wouldn't mind me sharing this, but she actually was like, very emotional, because she was like, the places I've worked before seemed like they didn't even want me around. It's like, oh my God.
Hurt me.
And it's true. So if you appreciate your people and you don't want them to go anywhere, praise them. And don't you want people to perceive you as someone that is really, truly grateful? Let's be honest. Like, I don't want to be around people that aren't grateful for what they have and grateful for my value. So be that person, because you can't expect it to be taken seriously if you're not, being an example of a grateful person.
Other ways we show gratitude here at ECU, we give people professional development opportunities. Hey, we love the people on our team because they want to get better, right? We have Megan, who is going through a PMP. She's been doing a great job. She wanted to learn about project management. So we sent her to UC Berkeley. She's about to wrap up PMP, and she was super excited about that. We have Derek going through
he's just hanging out talking to Harvard professors.
Sales strategic management course. So, hey, we promote professional development inside of our organization, and we love it when people want to get better, right? So that's another way to show your team how proud you are, how grateful you are, is, hey, is there any professional development opportunities available at the company? Because people need knowledge. How are they going to get better, right? You have your team. If we never train our team or give our team development opportunities, how are they going to get better? It's crazy.
And what this says to them is that you believe they are worth investing in.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you're a leader, you know that, once they get the knowledge, that's going to help you then reach your personal, professional, financial goals as well.
Absolutely. In other ways, support during personal challenges. Look, we are all going to go through something at work, right? And it could be typically outside factors at work. So let me know in the comments if you think your employees deal with challenges outside of work that affect their performance. Think that happens? Right?
More often than we want to admit, guys.
Life is life. People are going to get in. What are some tragic things? Like, people are going to get, sometimes they're going to get in a car accident, right? Sometimes they're going to lose family members.
I don't even like speaking this into my reality, but we
is
know.
The reality, right? So, another way is to show, thankfulness during those times and help them during those times. I mean, they're your team.
Mm-hmm.
What else you got, Kristina?
For more gratitude practices? Yeah. Okay. So now we know what you can do, like, inside your culture, inside your company, some of the things that you can implement. Employee recognition, huge one. But let me skip back over to the personal.
Well, hey, can I do a thing from the audience real quick? We got a good comment. So LinkedIn user said, I think this is incredibly important, the focus on being thankful for what we have. It is in a microcosm of a bigger issue with human beings and humanity in general. We do 9 things great and fail at one thing. what we do most often, we focus on the one thing, the failure. Man,
So true.
I like this person already. We work out so hard and transform our bodies except for that one spot that doesn't want to change. Oh, man.
You know who I think this is?
Who is it?
I think I know
I got to
who
check
this
this.
is.
Okay, here we go. And what we do is we focus in the mirror on the bad spot. Okay, I've actually started doing this recently. Let me see. Oh, I got to pop over to LinkedIn. Hold on. Let me go down, Kristina. It is the person who said that. Hold on. Let me scroll up. Oh, no. Hold on, Kristina.
During times when you do feel like you're failing, this is why I say gratefulness helps with a resilient, positive mindset. Because if you are a quote unquote high achiever, top performer, that is the
Chris Hubbard.
Yes, I knew that's who it was.
And to follow, let me finish it. Sorry. I have actually started doing this recently, practicing gratitude, and it 100% helps the mental mindset for each day. Absolutely. Armor up, my man. Armor up every morning. And one way to armor up, hey, show some gratitude and be grateful.
It's the easiest armor to reach for. It really is, guys. This stuff's easy. If you can't get yourself into a gratitude practice, there's a lot more to talk about, mindset-wise. Because, okay, so let me finish my thought here really quick. So if you are a top performer and you are a high achiever and you are a type A personality, very much like I talk about in my book, The Fearless Executive, available on Amazon, this would really speak to like type A control freak personalities, let's be honest. And
nothing wrong with being a control freak. It's a good thing. Go ahead.
I mean, it serves us pretty well. But what comes with that is for me, a cycle of self-sabotage and beating yourself up even when you're doing an amazing job. So my only way out of that, typically when I'm struggling with that, or like Chris said, like you've done 9 things amazing, one thing sucked, your brain wants to focus on that one thing. You have to pivot into gratefulness, just enough to bring you into a good positive mindset to keep going. I'm not saying be soft on yourself. I'm not saying like, oh, just because I'm grateful I have food on the table, let's just sit down and relax for a few days and forget what could have gone better. That's not what I'm talking about either. I am not talking about this soft crap that you hear out in the.
Well,
Let me stop.
Here's the reality. I watched this video last night. It was with Kobe Bryant, and he was just talking about doubt, right? Think about this. Can anyone think of a positive benefit that will serve you about doubt?
I do.
Go ahead.
Because that's the first stage I have to go through with anything.
Okay, good. I'll let you have that one.
Doubt comes first. Like even Tim and I, we were talking the other night. Ultimately, is it serving me? I don't know. That's an interesting question in philosophy. I could probably talk about both sides of that, but it is undoubtedly the first place my brain goes when I set a target, doubt, period. So I forget what it was we were talking about.
Doubt doesn't
creating a new role, like specifically around content and what I would do with that and my role here. Like I was just talking about everything in regards to my role here and where it could go and what I could do. But some of the first things that came out of my mouth was like, okay, well, how's the ECU community going to perceive that? How's my team going to perceive that? I'm just being real, guys. I'm actually really excited about it. And Tim's like, wow, like he's just so fascinated that my mind went through the self-doubt cycle before I could even get to like tactics.
Well, and to share this.
So I always have to navigate self-doubt first, whether or not it is good or bad, it is happening for me. And that's what it is.
Because that also goes through imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
Which, ladies and gentlemen, I got something to share with you today. If you don't know who Jerry Jones is, he is the owner of the Dallas Cowboys, and he has been the owner of the Dallas Cowboys since 1989. He was recently on 60 Minutes. If you don't know, the Dallas Cowboys is estimated to be worth $2 billion. You know what Jerry Jones says? Let me know if this resonates with you. Because I've talked to so many job seekers, right, at every levels. Yeah, Tim, but no one's going to hire me as a CFO because I don't have my CPA license, and every job requirement requires it. Oh, I want to be a project manager, but I don't have my PMP. But I've been successful, super successful at sales and sales leadership. But Kristina, I don't have my MBA. I actually don't even have my bachelor's degree. If you think you're the only ones who think that, it happens at the highest levels. Jerry Jones said he lives every day with a scarcity mindset because he thinks he can lose it all very quickly. And then the 60 Minutes guy was like, yeah, but you're a billionaire. And he said, yeah, but you don't understand. If I lose this, you know what he said? I don't have any job skills. And you know what he said? I don't have a degree. Guys, a billionaire with 2 billion literally said, if I lost this, I don't know what I was due. And I'm like,
when Tim was telling me this story, I have it in my head that like it was kind of going to be a ha moment, or like the
very
video.
serious.
It was guys, the look on his face was so scared, just like somebody had just drained him of his like, spirit or something. I mean, this guy, was like, man, like I don't have an education to go be a doctor or any of these other things. And so in his mind,
he wasn't sick. He didn't think he could be successful at anything
we say
else.
We say this because it affects everyone.
It affects everyone. It doesn't matter. He's worth 2 billion, right? So, hey, you cannot doubt yourself. It does not serve you. You need to be grateful instead, right? Be grateful where you are right now. Absolutely.
The quicker you can pivot from like doubt, fear, anxiety into a moment of gratefulness. So it's not like it's going to be perfect when you start, but the faster that it becomes your default to pivot from anxiousness. It's very difficult to be anxious and sad and grateful at the same time. Try it.
And I challenge you this week. Hey, as we're rolling out on Wednesday, because most of corporate America, right, it's not going to work tomorrow, right? Hey, do me a favor. If you're a leader, why don't you individually email the people on your team? Right. And maybe say, hey.
Oh, but Tim, I don't have the time.
Yeah. Well,
Tim, that's too much, Tim.
Make the time. Stay an hour later. Email your team individually and tell them, each of them, right? Maybe how grateful you are to have them on your team and why. Right. Because I tell you what, does that seem like a big deal to you? Probably not. Does maybe some of you think it's a little silly? Maybe. What do you think the employee is going to feel, Kristina? Do you think they're going to think it's silly?
No, they're going to feel great.
They're going to feel great. They're going to feel valued. They're going to want to pay attention more.
And if you're a corporate leader and all you can get, let me just rewind. If you're a corporate leader that has a lot of responsibility, and let's say during this conversation, the only thing you can get excited about is results, because that's what you want. I'm telling you, this is the roadmap to that.
Absolutely.
It starts here.
Mm-hmm.
Period.
Hey, we were also going to cover goals on this, but hey, the best part, we're going to have a lot of goal and a lot of planning for Q1 coming recently, right? Or coming in the next few weeks as we wrap up Q4. But with that being said, right, make sure you have set a goal. Okay. One of the biggest problems I see with executives.
But Tim, I don't know how to set a goal.
Yeah, you're
just
right.
Write it down on a notebook
Write
paper.
It down. Hey, what do you want? Start mapping out your 2021. We'll do a whole podcast on this soon, right? But what are some of your goals for next year? Do not wait till January 1st. And hey, if anything, get a head start on them. So we're really going to break down goal setting to the finite amount coming up soon. But hey, we want you to start formulating in your mind, hey, what are some of are you ready? What are the 3 things, Kristina? What kind of goals should they be setting?
Personal, professional, and financial.
And financial goals for next year, preferably for the next 36 months. But hey, to get started for the next year, right? Because here's
like
why.
Non-negotiable ones, guys. Like I know we're going to have big ones that are going to feel out of reach, and we already kind of know that those would take a little extra time. That's cool. Set ones that are going to be like, I don't care. Come hell or high water. Failure isn't an option. These are the things I'm doing. Mm-hmm. Feel free to dream here on the big stuff. Trust me, I want to have a jet. Like, okay. Like I get it. And that's going to take a long time. I'm not, what's his name? Billionaire.
Yeah.
But things that are like, I don't care. Like failure is not an option. These things are happening.
Yeah. So with that being said, hey, we gave you a couple examples of how to show gratitude to your team. It will serve you extremely well. Gratitude for yourself and gratitude tomorrow, especially, right? That you're able to have time with family, relax during the holidays. And with that being said, hey, with goal setting, number one, do you want to run a race without knowing where the finish line is?
Also, gratitude, guys, can also come with boundaries through the holidays. I am just here to tell you, if you do not feel like dashing around from one house to another your whole freaking day, don't do that. Gratitude is also taking care of yourself. I am just letting you know.
It starts with yourself.
And be around the right people. So try not to come out of this hungover and depleted and talked down to and buying into everyone else's thinking. You know what? I should have actually started this podcast with that. I'm not going to go down a rabbit hole right now, but protect your energy. During this time, there could come trigger points through conversations with friends and family. Watch your habits. Stay firm in your boundaries and your self-respect.
Would you like to run a race without knowing where the finish line is?
I think it sounds like a hell of a time. No, I'm just kidding.
That's what you're doing if you don't set goals. You're running a forever race, right? So make sure to first identify your goal, and then we will backwards plan how to reach that. We'll have more tactics and strategies with you soon. So with that being said, hey, a couple things. Of course, if you need help in your career, get on our Black Friday email so you can save some money because you need to do it anyway, right? execupgrades.com.
Tim and I will be in office all day Friday, ready to talk to you guys.
Talking
like you could talk directly to us about what you're looking to achieve and come on into this program at an extremely low price point. At this point, we're doing this for fun because we love working and we're grateful.
So go to execupgrades.com/Black-Friday. Christy will pop it in the comments again. And again, besides career, we have Mastering Your First 100 Days Leadership and Development, right? Equipping you with the tactics strategies you need to truly elevate your career. And as always,
and your life, get your life back. We're over here talking about giving you your life back. Okay.
You have to do it anyway, right? We have to work anyway. We might as well have tactics and strategy so it's somewhat fun. Hey, we have a lot of fun at ECU, right? Because me and Kristina know, hey, we got to do it anyway. We might as well have fun. And as our mentors say, there's only one emotion that we should use in business that we like to remind you all the time. And what is that emotion, Kristina?
Celebration.
Until next week, everyone, happy Thanksgiving and have a great day.
Bye, guys.